Okay, this is Unit 4, Lesson 7, second semester, 7th grade math. Vocabulary review. Name the x-coordinate and the y-coordinate of point A. Who can tell me which one is the x-coordinate? Somebody tell me, please. Justin.
2 is the x-coordinate.
Yep, 2 is the x-coordinate. And then can somebody tell me what is the value of the y-coordinate? What is the value of the y-coordinate? Go ahead.
-5.
-5, correct. Okay, so can I get a volunteer to come to the board to graph 2? India, go ahead. Pick out a color besides black, just so it stands out. And label your point with the letter E too. Okay. Okay, so put the marker down, put it down. So what you just graphed was -3, +1. But we can fix it. Remember, left is negative. We can fix that. We can move it to +3, +1. Okay? Who can do point number 3, point R? Zainab.
Wait, what's the coordinate?
Look at it. To the side.
He came up here without knowing the coordinate.
Shh, don't put your palm down. It's going to think your palm is the pen. And then label it. Okay, put the pen down. Okay, very good. Is that correct?
No.
What is this point right here? 1, 1. So look, Zainab, you're correct. First, you shift to the right 1 place. Okay, but 0 means I don't go up or down. I don't change any levels. Okay, so it stays. And remember I told you guys, those are the points that throw a lot of students off. Okay, either when x is 0, that throws students off, or when y is, for some reason, I see that as a common mistake. Just remember, whichever coordinate's 0 means you're not changing in that direction. Okay, so we went to the right 1, but 0 means we don't go up or down. We don't change levels up or down. Okay, can I get a volunteer for number 4? Number 4. Let's see. Athila. Okay, put your pen down. So what point did Athila just graph? So again, you have the x-coordinate correct. It's -3, -2 where you're at, but we want it to be -1. So if we go 1, 2, 3, that's -3, and then we drop 1 level, that right there would be G. Okay? Could I get a volunteer for number 5? Somebody I haven't called on. Jose, thank you for representing the gentleman today. Point S. Okay, make a nice solid dot. Okay, very good. +2, -2, point S. Any questions about the warm-up? Okay, moving along. Question? No, we're good? You guys that were off by one of the coordinates, we got that fixed, right? Okay, so we're going to need that for the lesson today. I'm going to go ahead and read this since I'll be posting this online. What you'll learn: to graph and write rules for translations. New vocabulary. Transformation, translation, image, prime notation. Why learn this? Patterns like the one at the right use translations. You can describe translations mathematically by graphing in a coordinate plane. A transformation is a change in position, shape, or size of a figure. 3 types of transformation that change only the position are slides, flips, and turns. A slide is also known as a translation. A translation is a transformation that moves each point of a figure the same distance and the same direction. So let me pause. That's a lot. So transformations, there are a few different types. We're going to learn about one of them today. Got it? Okay. A translation is a type of transformation where you're changing the location, but you're not changing the orientation. Okay, you're not rotating it, you're not flipping it, you're just sliding it to a new location. Got it? Does that make sense? Okay. So once we've performed a transformation, the result we call the image of the original. Understand? Okay. Something else, if we're talking about a point, so the result of a transformation is the image of the original, and then prime notation is the way to name an image point. So if we have a point A, we start out with point A, then A prime would be the image. Got it? Does that make sense? So I know some of you guys looking at that and saying that looks like an A apostrophe. In math, we call that apostrophe a prime. Got it? Any questions? Okay, let's try to go through some examples and see if we can get it. All right, so here's what I want you guys to do. I want you to translate point F, left 3 units and up 2 units. What are the coordinates of the image of F called F prime? So what I'd like, first of all, is I need a volunteer to graph point F. Who haven't I called on yet? Teray, go ahead and come up. Pick a color. Actually, can you do me a favor? Let's make this one red. Let's use red. You're going to see why in a little bit. So graph point F and then label it point F. Okay, and if you can put an F right next to it. Okay, very good. Everybody agree? Okay. Now we're going to translate point F, and I need somebody to graph the image of point F, and I need you to label that point F prime. Okay? Rayhan.
Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Red again for this one. You'll see in a moment. Shh, quietly. Nice. Go ahead. So he went left 3 units, up 2 units. Rayhan, thank you for not breaking my board today. Okay, so I want to show you something because it's going to be the point of the lesson later, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write this in red, and I'm going to use arrow notation for this. So here's how we write it. So we had F, and F was 4, 1. And then we use something called arrow notation to show us what F prime is. And F prime was 4, 1, but something had to happen here. I had to, let me see, what color is that now? Okay, that's green. I had to move to the left 3 units. So left means add or subtract. So I had a -3 from my x value. And then I had to move up 2 units. So is up, add, or subtract? So +2. And so the result for the image F prime was 1, 3. Okay, so I'm trying to get you guys ready for what we're going to be learning next, which is how to write a rule using arrow notation. So I'm getting you guys ready for that. Okay, any questions about this? Are we good? The next thing I need you to do, I need a volunteer for G. Can I get a volunteer for G? I'm trying to alternate here. Kimberly, if you can. Yep, and yes, please do it in green. Okay, and label it point G. Good. Okay, everybody agree? -4, +1, that's point G, yes. Now, if you look at the words describing the translation, can somebody plot the point G primed given that translation? Okay. Go ahead, Thomas. Did I call him already? Oh, you need to sit down. Somebody else can go up there.
I said the number -5.
Okay, fine. Fine. Fine.
Where am I going? Okay. Right 1. Right 1. Down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. And label it G prime.
G.
Okay, very good. Everybody agree? Okay, so here's the rule for this example. We have G, which is -4, comma 1, arrow notation, and we want G primed, but we started out with -4, and we start out with 1, right? So for this problem, it said write 1. So what am I doing to my x coordinate? I'm going to add 1, okay? And then it said down 4. So what am I doing to my y coordinate? -4. Okay, so that gave us back the point for G primed, which was, what's -4 plus 1? It's -3. And then 1 minus 4 is what? -3. And isn't that the value of G prime? Okay, so in a moment you're going to see why I wrote this with the arrow notation, because now I want to talk to you about how do we write a rule using arrow notation. So if you look, notice for my first point, this describes a specific translation. If you look for point F, I had x, the x coordinate -3. You see the -3 here? I had the y coordinate +2. And then for my G, G prime was the x plus 1, and then y was -4. Okay, do you guys understand how we use arrow notation here? Okay, moving along. Now here's what we're going to do. We're going to translate a figure, and this figure has 3 vertices. It's a triangle. And these vertices are named A, B, and C. So the vertices of the triangle A, B, and C, the triangle A, B, C, are A, -1, comma 4, B, -4, comma 2, and C, -2, comma 1. We're going to translate triangle ABC right 2 units and down 4 units. So we're going to use arrow notation to describe this. So can somebody tell me what is my coordinate for A going to be? What is A going to be? A primed. A primed is going to be what? A primed. We started out with -1 and 4, right? So what are we supposed to do to x? We're supposed to add 2, right? So let's go ahead and get things ready here. All right, so let me move these to the side. We're going to draw this out. So A is -1 and 4. And then what's A primed?
1 and 0.
It's going to be 1 and it's going to be 0. Very good. Okay, so I'll go ahead and graph that on the coordinate plane. 1, and then 0 means I don't go up or down. So what about B? B we see as -4 and 2. And then B primed. Who can tell me what B prime is going to be? Say again, Miriam? You said -2, and then you said -2. I agree.
No, the first one is negative.
Oh, did I forget a negative? -2. Okay, so B is -2, -2. Okay, now let's get C. And C we have is -2, comma 1. And what is C prime going to be? 0 and -3. 0, -3. Okay, so 0 I don't go left to right, but I do drop 3 places. Now what I want to show you is here I have this triangle, and I place it over the image, and you agree that that's the same triangle, right? So let's check our work. I'm going to move 2 units to the right, 1, 2, okay? And then I'm going to go 2 units down in the y direction, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Do my points all line up? Okay. Now let's come up with my arrow notation. Save it. Bring your things up here. Arrow notation says, hey, for any point, x and y, let's describe this. So my first coordinate x and my second coordinate y. What is going to happen? Let me see which color I was using. Okay, I'm going to use red. What happened here? What am I doing to the x coordinate? Plus 2. What am I doing to the y coordinate? -4. Do you see how easy arrow notation is? Yes. Okay. So that's the rule of the translation. All right. Next, what we're going to do is we need to translate. Now, notice this is. I had a good question last class. They said, Mr. Headley, which triangle am I going to translate? Notice none of these letters have a prime on it, right? So, am I translating the image or the original triangle? Not the image. It says translate the triangle ABC. This is triangle ABC in black. Triangle in blue is the image of triangle ABC. Got it? Notice all the points have a prime next to each of the vertices. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay, so let's really quickly, let's get these taken care of. So we're going to figure out where the translation of A, B, and C is. So first of all, before we graph it, let's figure this out. A, what's A? If A was -1, 4, then what is A prime going to be? Based upon this new translation.
No, that's A prime.
Right, because we have to differentiate between the two. We already have A prime, so double prime is what we would say. So what would A double prime be?
-4,
-4.
and 5.
Okay, and then add 1, so we're going to be +5. Very good. Okay, how about B? Let's see, what was B again? Let's go take a look. So B was -4 and 2. So if that was -4 and +2, what would B double prime be? -7, because -4 minus 3 is going to be -7. And then what? 2, 1 unit up, that becomes a 3. Okay? And then we have point C. Point C was -2 and +1. and then C double primed. What's C double prime going to be?
Negative 5
-5 and
and 2.
2. Okay. So let's go and graph these. So A is supposed to be -4 and 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And actually point C is going to be off. Point B is going to be off of my grid. I didn't make my grid. So at -5, I'm going to estimate 1, 2, and then it said how many units? It's going to be +3. So 1, 2, 3. So about there is going to be B. And then C is -5 and +2. -5. Oops, don't want that. -5, +2. So now let's see if my image is correct. I was supposed to go which direction for X?
3 left.
Left how many?
Units.
Left 3 units. 1, 2, and 3, right? And then I'm supposed to go up how many units? 1.
Hey, you actually got B.
Did I guess estimate B all right? Okay, close enough. Now let's come up with my rule. So for any X and Y, what is my rule
X.
going to be?
X minus 3, Y plus 1.
-3 and then Y plus 1. Very good. So we know what arrow notation is now, right? We're good? Okay, moving along. Now, here they're giving you the graph, the original and the image. What you need to come up with is the rule for that translation. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's go ahead. Here's what we start out with. For any point, X and Y, arrow notation, we're going to start with some X and we have to modify it, and we're going to start with some Y and we have to modify it, so I'm going to leave some space for that. So which point do we want to calculate our, okay, so you guys want to start with A? So we're looking at the X, so which direction is X?
No, it's 0.
Which direction we go in the X when we're talking about X? Right and left, right? So if we start out, and you have to be careful, you have to identify which is the original. Which is always the original?
The one that does not have the
The one that doesn't have the prime. So we're talking about this A right here. And so if I'm going to go to A prime, I have to go which direction?
to the right.
To the right, and how many units? Let's count.
4.
Okay. And if I go to the right, what is that, plus or minus? So I'm +4. So that means X plus 4, right? Correct? Okay, now I need to worry about my Y. I got to get to the correct level. What am I going to do?
Drop.
I'm going to drop how many units?
I'm a negative.
I'm going to drop 4 units. And when we say go down in levels, we say minus. So Y minus 4. Okay, so that is my arrow notation. That's my rule for the translation for any of these points. And let me show you what I'm talking about. My rule works for every point, right? Doesn't it work for every point? Okay, so any point I can find the translation or the transformation of to get the image using that rule. Does that make sense? Any questions? All right, here's what I need you to do. Can I get a volunteer to graph for me this point and come up, and then we as a class we need to come up with the arrow notation to represent that translation, that new translation. Somebody, Ben, come on up. Come on up, Ben. Ben, can you graph this in, just use black for this one, if you don't mind. The new point.
You need to name one of these points. Amazon?
We're going to name this point A double primed. No. On the grid, graph the point. Do you see the point? The coordinate's 4, 3?
Yeah.
Okay, can we name that A double primed? Nice. Okay, very good. Everybody agree? What is this translation going to be now? So we're going to start out with X and Y, and then we're going to translate it, and then we ended up with X, comma, Y, and did we modify these coordinates? So if you look for A, the coordinate for A is what? What's the coordinate for A? We see that A is 0 and 4, right? 0, 3, correct. 0, 3. So using arrow notation, we have a translation, and we get A double primed. And how do we get A double primed? What was A double primed? It says right here, 4, 3, right? Okay. So what's happening? What changed?
Only the x.
Only the X value changed. And how much did it change?
Plus 4.
It changed from here to here, plus 4. So this is plus 4. And then, did I have a change in the Y? So guess what? Plus 0. Or I could just left it Y. Are we good? Question? We are almost done. A translation is a type of what? It's a type of transformation. Okay, mental math. Translate the origin. Left 3 units, up 2 units. What are the coordinates of the image? Negative 3 and what? Positive 2. Very good. Okay, so now let's take a look at this graph. And we're going to use this graph to answer these 2 questions. Use arrow notation to show the translation. So remember, for arrow notation, we start out with any point, generic point x, y. And then we get a new point, x, and then some modification to x, and then y, some modification to y. So let's figure out what that is. Do you guys remember the strategy? Pick a point. Okay. We're not going to pick what point? We're not going to pick a prime point because that's where you want to end up. We want to pick out where we start. So we're going to pick a point that has no prime. So P, Q, or R. So which one do y'all want to pick?
Q.
I heard Q. I like Q. So Q, we're going to first go in the x direction to figure out how to write our expression for the x coordinate. So to get to Q primed, I'm going which direction? I'm going right. And is that a positive or a negative?
Also positive.
I'm going positive how many?
4.
How many units? 4. And since I went right, is that plus or minus?
Plus.
Plus. So the x coordinate, I got to add 4. Now, what about the y coordinate? Am I on the correct level to get to the image of Q or Q primed? What do I have to do?
Go up.
Go up, and is that plus or minus?
Plus.
So I'm going to increase. I'm going up, and how many levels did I go up? 4. So it's plus 4 here. So that's my arrow notation for any point from the original to the image. Now, use words to describe the translation. Can you use words to describe the translation?
This thing to that thing.
What's your question?
But like if somebody just went like 2 units to the right and then went up, would that still be the same thing? So like they went like 3 ways instead of 2.
Oh, are you saying if you went up first and then left?
No, if you went 2 and then went up and then went 2.
No.
To add,
No. Figure out where you align it. So just go one direction at a time. Okay? Your thinking is more in line with what we're talking about, the slope. We kind of did that, but not for this. Okay? Using words. Tell me what you would use, what words we use to describe this. So for any point, what are we going to do? Have I heard from Justin today? Justin, use your...
Two. That doesn't count.
Shh. Justin, can you tell me, how do we describe this translation? Think about our examples earlier. If you look at this one back here. Right? Okay, see how they're using the words here? Triangle ABC, right 2 units and down 4 units. So that's using your words. That's what they mean. Can you use your words to describe this translation?
Well, you use right 4 units and up 4 units.
Move right 4 units and up
I think you forgot the E.
4 units.
Just put the word and right.
Up.
Move right 4 units and move.
And. Happy? Okay. Any questions about today's lesson? Pretty easy?
Yep.
All right. Here's what I need you to do. Go ahead. Get lesson 7 quick check done before we leave out of here.
You know, that plow actually turned out pretty neatly. I'm so shocked.
What's that?
That